Welcome back. This is Wisconsin Shoe Guy, and today we're going to talk about what do you do when you bought that pair of shoes that you really, really like and they just don't fit right. So, when we're going to talk a little bit about insoles, we're going to talk a little bit about heel grippers, and we'll talk about tongue pads. But you know, when you think about insoles, most people think about these, right? This is from a pair of Allbirds. It's a very generic, kind of foamy, very soft insole. And what's nice about them is that they're really comfy. What's bad about them is they don't really take up a lot of space in terms of lifting your foot up in the shoe, because they're so squishy that they just fall apart. So when you start thinking about dress shoes and what it's made of and so forth, what a lot of times you want is something like this, which is just another piece of leather. If it fits in the shoe perfectly, this is from Leather Lately down in Mexico. This actually just fits in right over the insole that's stitched in, and if perfect fit, holds onto your foot, and your foot wears into this, softens into this, breaks into this, and this becomes just like the new insole for the shoe. But sometimes that's not enough. Sometimes this is not thick enough, or sometimes it's too thick. And the worst thing you can do is make the shoes uncomfortable by putting too much of a gap in there. And so as somebody who's lost weight and had shoes that got to be a little big, insoles became necessary. This is another example. This is a Pedak, right? And this has this little foam on the back. So it has the leather, a little thinner leather, and then it has the fabric on the other side to kind of give it a little bit more oomph, also a little bit more breathability. But I would say that this is thinner overall than this piece. And then you have another piece. This is from Hephaestus, and this is a piece of leather, also thinner piece of leather. And here, I'll show it next to each other so you can actually see. All right. And it has a foam across the whole side, okay, and then it has more of a foam on the heel to provide additional support. So that's another way of being able to make sure that the fit is just right. Now, these came with a pair of shoes that already had one of these in there in case they weren't quite right, but they were, so I didn't need them. Now, Meerman has this new flex sole that they have, and they come with these in there as well. Now, this is not squishy. Okay, so it has this foam. It's a little bit big, but when I put these on, it was actually a little uncomfortable. So what I did was I took them out and I wore the shoe. And what I need is something that is a little bit thinner. Okay, so here you've got a thinner one that's also not as squishy. It's a little squishy, but not as squishy. So it can help me get the fit a little bit right. Now, this came from Crew Nonpareil, which comes with two pairs of insoles, this pair and then this pair, which is thicker and also very firm. So, but I would say these are about the same. They're actually a little bit less thick than the Meerman as well. So give you, again, some different options as you look at it. But now sometimes the shoe itself and your foot and the forefoot feels perfect, but the instep is just a little bit light, and you just need something to make sure that your foot is in the seat in the back of the shoe. And so that's where these come in, and these are tongue pads. Okay? Now, these are really nice tongue pads that are made out of suede that are from Scolex. They cost $10 a piece, so not bad. Suede. They just go in on the tongue. And look how much that is. And it has, like, underneath, it feels like the memory foam. And so you push it down, but then it pops up a little bit more. So it gives you a nice snug fit without overdoing it. But it gives you also a little bit so that if you need more gap there, it can provide it. So it's a really nice way of being able to do it. And this, especially if you lose a lot of weight and your instep goes down, this can save your pair of shoes for a good long while, which is a nice thing. Now, the other side that you have is you have people who have problems with heel slip, and heel slip can be a real problem. That's where you get something like this, you pop that in, and you can do it like this. So it goes on the inside of the heel of a loafer, and it has a little pad here, which just holds onto your heel so you don't slip. Now this is suede, right? Also $10, also from Skolix, and can be a great way of being able to save a pair of shoes that just no longer fits quite right. So now obviously when you're buying new shoes, especially new, you want to make sure that you just get the right size, so you don't need any of this stuff, right? Needing it is a problem, but there's a lot of guys that are out there who are into used shoes, and these things can save a shoe, right? I mean, you can buy a shoe and it's just half a size off, and something like this can make all the difference in the world. Or you could really be a 9 3/4, and so if you get a 9 1/2, it's too tight, and you need something like this in order to make a 10 work just right. So that is just a thought on ways to make shoes fit. If they don't, this is Wisconsin Shoe Guy. Let me know your thoughts and how your experience has been using these different tools.